Hello, beautiful humans. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. So I've been saying I was going to make this video for some time, and so here it finally is. I debated with myself for a bit about whether I should compile a whole thing or just talk from the heart. I'm just gonna talk from the heart and see how she flows. The subject, as I've been saying, hinting at that I was gonna talk about it, is the masculine and feminine aspects and balance of life. A few things. The first thing is that you'll notice that masculine and feminine is present in literally every aspect of life. When I say that, I'm not exaggerating. You can find examples of masculine and feminine aspects or traits or energies all the way down to the teeniest little subatomic, I don't even know, there's probably more than subatomic, they have tinier particles now, like quarks and strings and God knows what. At any rate, down to the teeniest level, you can find evidence of masculine and feminine, and up to the most expansive level, of course, if you want to reference something like a story, for instance, like the Bible, you have Adam and Eve. There's always a male and a female presence, no matter what it is. Just some examples. Let me put it to you this way. There are masculine and feminine principles within everything. And, by the way, within you. So, no matter what you are, and I don't know whether you're alien, you're human, or whatever, but presuming that you are a human being, even if you aren't, you still have a masculine and a feminine side of yourself. And those sides tend to correspond with the active side, which is technically associated with your right side, which is technically associated with the sun, which is activity and motion and all the things that do this in life. And then the other side of you, which is the feminine, associated with the moon and your left side. And the reason I bring this up is manyfold. It's one, because like I said, that balance of masculine and feminine duality is present within literally everything. I'm not joking about that. You can research it for yourself if you want to take a deep dive down that rabbit hole. It is a rabbit hole with some sort of end. However, you won't ever find God. And so in dissecting science, and I'm a science-minded girl. I love science. Science has always fascinated me. It's always been a passion of mine. That's a part of what led me into my passion for animals and things like that. So at any rate, everything, including the animals, I'm trying to think of interesting examples, because people are kind of basic in the sense that, of course we have masculine and feminine. There are very obvious examples of, male parts, female parts, da-da-da-da. It goes deeper than that, though. What I've been learning about recently is this dynamic within us and how to really work with this. The reason I bring it here is because I've realized that learning to work with your own system of masculine and feminine, and again, I'm going to make the point that it does not matter if you are masculine yourself, if you're a boy, a girl, an alien, a purple blue dishwashing monkey, I don't care what you are. Whatever you are, non-binary, transgender, a purple, like I said, a purple monkey dishwasher, I don't know. It does not matter. You still have a masculine side and a feminine side, and the balance of the two within your system will really help you to feel better in your own life, if that is perhaps the best way I can say that. So I wanted to bring that just to your attention, mainly because it's something big that I've learned recently. And when I say big, I mean the difference between simply being aware of, okay, yes, this is masculine trait kind of stuff, like active, strong, go-getting, very movement orientated, and females are more nurturing, slow paced, not necessarily though. We care for the children, we look after the young. I'm also just talking about animals and other things. These are some feminine, kind of qualities. However, feminine, as I've also recently learned, is also associated with the void. And interestingly, what I found super interesting is what was shared with me is that masculine, they can be a little bit afraid of the void, because think about stepping out into, just to give you a crazy, strange, just random visual, right? Imagine space without a spaceship, without a space station. Imagine you just imagine there was just a door in your wall and you just opened it up and you couldn't see what's out there, but you just walked out into space. The door closes behind you and all there is the blackness of space all around you. Most beings would be a little intimidated by that, because it's just this big mass of kind of energy that you can't see. It's not necessarily as tangible, which I think, this is just my own theory, is why men have always kind of associated women with being like crazy and moody. Let me tell you something, men, by the way. I've always wanted to share this, and so it's a little bit of fiery, like whatever from me. Let me tell you, men folk out there, genuinely and sincerely, I believe if you guys had to go through what we go through and had to become as intimately familiar with your bodies as we have no choice but to do because we're women and we bleed and we have children and things, we get no choice. Like, y'all, I have to rant about this for a minute, and I don't even apologize because it's something that just I don't understand about this, and part of why I'm trying to actively change society to be different. Let me bring this up. And guys, if you feel you need to close your ears, whatever, I'm gonna talk woman for a second, and honestly, it would behoove you to listen. Here's what I don't understand about the current society and why I'm working to change it. I want you guys to think about this for a second. I mean, really think about this for just a second, because I honestly don't think that a lot of people take much time to like ponder this. And I think if they did, they'd be like, what in the heck are we doing here? Why are we agreeing to this? It's a ridiculous agreement. What do I mean? Women, we do not get a choice. We don't get a choice. Every single woman on earth that exists, for the most part, has to deal with their moon once a month. Now you tell me, men, what is it that you have to deal with every month? And I say have to very intentionally because we don't get a choice. We have a uterus, which prepares us to have children, whether or not we want children. That's a little personal detail. I never really wanted to birth children. And what I'll share with you about that is simply because my body has always really, and I'm not kidding, when I say my body has really struggled with the hormonal changes for my entire life, I'm not kidding. I have suffered, it sounds ridiculous saying that, but I really, really struggled and suffered with my hormones and my period for the majority of my life. Turns out that's probably because I probably have endometriosis, which is a whole other topic. But the point I'm making is we women, we don't get a choice as to whether our bodies flow with our hormones and the moon. They just do. It just is. So the reason that I'm sort of stingeringly being at this is the fact that I'm so tired, honestly, guys, of hearing men be like, oh, well, she's crazy because she's on her moon. If you had to deal with what we have to deal with, and if you really think for a second, here's the real kicker. Now, I don't know if you caught my video the other day, but I was talking about the cycles of women and their hormones. And essentially, what I was explaining is, yeah, we may be bleeding for only 1 week of every month. However, realize that that is every month. We don't get to choose. Our body goes, here, you're going to cleanse now. And if you have a rough time of that, too bad. That's thing number one. Crazy thing number two. Every month, guys. Crazy thing number two. When it's not during that week, the other 3 weeks are not just sunshine and roses, which I believe led to that whole silly saying that women are crazy and all that stuff and moody and unpredictable. We're not. It's because that 1 week sets up the other 3 weeks of a month. And if you think about that, that whole thing repeats over and over and over and over and over for our whole lives. And there is no, I'm getting a little mad, I'm not gonna lie. Not at you guys, at this situation, to be frank. I don't appreciate, frankly, from the universe that we are stuck in this cycle and we don't get to step out and be like, you know what, today I elect, or like this month, I elect not to have my period. Like, F that. No, we don't get to choose. And as someone who, like I said, and I'm not exaggerating, and the people who live with me, who have known me like closerly, that's not a word, will know that I'm just out of the game every time. If you think that I haven't tried 1,012 ways to cope with and try to adjust better and handle the pain, ignore the pain, try crazy homeopathic, all sorts of stuff. I really have tried so many things. And I'm seriously saying to you that nothing has ever helped me. Point I'm making, however, is not so much what I have gone through, oh, poor me. It's that I know I'm not alone and a lot of women struggle with this. And my point that I'm really trying to make, and I don't know that it's coming through clear, is that although we are like crazy and moody and have to actually deal with this thing for 1 week of every month, that kicks off the other 3 weeks and sets the stage for the other 3 weeks. And if we don't pay attention to and it's fine, we can choose not to do this and be who, I was undereducated about this for up until now. And I'm only just learning about seed cycling and all this stuff that we women can do to kind of minimize that psychotic roller coaster impact of what your hormones do to you during the entirety of the 4 weeks. Anyway, so there is masculine and feminine balance in all. And what I think is, the third crazy thing, besides the fact that essentially we are dealing with our hormones all of the time through life. Like, although our time of the month is only that 1 week, we are addressing that constantly. Every single day, we're addressing that in some form or fashion. And it can be kind of frustrating, which is why I'm, you probably sense me getting a little like passionate. And the third crazy thing to me, really, really crazy about this, is that we have to pay for the goods that are crafted to address a system with our body that we don't even get a choice about having. It's as if, I'm saying this and realizing in the moment that yes, and society also charges us for toilet paper, but that could kind of devolve into a whole other debate about bidets, which I don't really want to have here. We'll talk about the toilet talk another time, maybe. I don't know if I want to go there. Anyway, there's a whole other discussion about toilet paper, but that really is not something I want to get into here and now in the masculine and feminine conversation. I wanted to bring up the fact that men don't be surprised that women are may come off as very much in their heads. The reason it happens, I think, largely is because we're having to deal with these crazy hormonal shifts, not just for that 1 week, for the entire month. And if you think about that, that just means that for literally our whole lives, because 1 month turns into the next month. Do you see what I'm saying here? This loop just goes, it does never stop. We don't get to get off that ride at any point in our lives. From the time that we enter puberty till the time we hit menopause. P.S. menopause hit me up. I'm ready to be done with this. On the masculine side, so what I wanted to talk about mainly, and I will keep this brief as I can now, I've said most of what I wanted to say, is I wanted to invite you mainly to become aware of these aspects in life, in your own body particularly, specifically. Because here's the thing, the real reason that I sort of made the video, it's for two reasons. It was one, to let you know about some of that craziness with women, so that maybe you can have a different perspective and understanding of how crazy that really is for us to deal with as women. It is not just 1 week, whatever. No, we have to caretake that for the entire time we're alive, pretty much until menopause. And even then, menopause sends you on a whole other set of crazy adventures with your body. This is a side tangent, but I'm just going to share it. There was a ride at Disney World, we're talking about 20, maybe 30 years ago or something, when I went there ages ago as a kid, called Body Wars or something like that. And it was one of those rides where you sit in the chair and it jiggles around, and it's really just an IMAX, not an IMAX, but a big movie screen. And so you watch a movie and it's as if you're traveling down this body system. Anyway, it kind of really freaked me out, and I will never forget it either, which is interesting. So what I'm inviting you to do is also to embrace the two sides of yourself. So, and I won't go into more depth about that specifically here. Maybe I will actually do a whole video on feminine aspect and a whole video on the masculine principles, because that might be really interesting to you guys too. In fact, if you are interested in a more in-depth discussion of each principle, then let me know in the comments, because otherwise I won't know and it just won't ever get made. It's something I can talk about. So I wanted to draw your awareness to this, that you have a masculine and feminine side, and that plays a part of also your energy levels and things. And that when you're feeling more active, that's a really good time to take advantage of that energy. That's probably your more masculine energies feeling ready to do stuff. Take advantage of that when you feel it. And when you feel like you should rest and recuperate, ease into your feminine side and allow it to do what it does best, to nurture, to rest. That sounds almost lazy. We're not lazy. It's what we're meant to do. We're meant to nurture the children. And so we have sort of this more flowy, low-key, rhythmic, just, softness to us as women. So hopefully that gave you some things to examine and look at in your life. There are all those masculine principles, like I said, it's not just within us, inside of us. You can observe it everywhere in anything and everything in the world. To give you just a quick example, for example, the seasons. Here in where I am, it's the feminine season. It's winter, it's cold. And where my friend lives, it's an island and it's hot. And so it's steamingly hot, and they're in their masculine principle right now. So that's just an interesting thing to be aware of in your life, and something that if you wish to, you can learn more about. So thank you for staying with me for this long. I know it's been a little more of a lengthy video. I really did feel it was important to share about the masculine and feminine though, because I don't think very many people really understand that interplay, and that we really do need both. We need that push of activity sometimes, and we also need, equally as important, that rest time sometimes too, so that when we get back into the masculine principle, we can run along with it and do the things that it wants to do to really give it a personality. So I hope you have a beautiful and blessed rest of your day. If you want help or coaching, you can always reach out here, and I will see you beautiful cats in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Namaste and much love. Bye. But I will, anyway, that could kind of devolve into a whole other debate about bidets, which I don't really want to have here. However, what I can give you, we'll talk about the toilet talk another time, maybe. I don't know if I want to go there. I'm trying to think of an example, but all I kind of really have is tangible, strange objects like pens, which don't really help to prove my point, because you'll be like, how, you know, can I prove that with that? I don't know. Not a good example. Women be like, oh, I mean, women, sorry. There's no, I'm getting a little mad. I'm not going to lie. No matter if we're talking, this is a little, I mean, you probably sense me getting a little like passionate. Not at you guys, at this situation. I don't even apologize.